echo of my footsteps match the beating of my heart. The shadows in the loneliness since we've been apart, haunted by a heartache in a never-ending swirl of desert dust and tumbleweeds since you left me in a world that's a ghost town with you not around. There could be people everywhere, but all I do is stare into a ghost town without you here, and the pain is hard to bear in the cold and dusty air since you left me in a ghost town.
Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paula Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast. We are coming to you live from the PGH Studios. Syndication is brought to you in part by WGKC and Live 365. You can listen live to the broadcast via the Live 365 app for your Apple or Android phone. But if you decide to use your PC, go to www.live365 and search for WGKC. Now, on with the show. Believe it or not, there's a lot of strange things going on out in the paranormal realms these days. What weird and wacky stories you got for us tonight, Paula?
Well, first of all, today is National Cheeseburger Day.
Woohoo! National Cheeseburger. I can go for that.
Well, there has been a lot of strange things. I had to choose and pick on the stories tonight because there was a lot of them.
Okay.
But other than it being National Cheeseburger Day, today is also National Air Force Day.
Okay.
We're going to do a little bit of brief history. This actually did not happen today. This actually is happening tomorrow. This is an anniversary.
Okay.
Everybody knows about the Salem witch trials.
Right.
And different things happening in the history of the Salem witch trials.
Right.
Well, on September 19th, 1692, Giles Corey, age 81, became the footnote in the history of American by becoming the first and only man to be pressed to death during legal proceedings.
Pressed to death?
Yes.
As in flattened?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Corey and his wife, Martha, were accused of witchcraft when one of the other accuser witches, Abigail Hobbs, named the old couple as a warlock and a witch.
Oh, nice.
It proceeded on to basically, as you may already know, witches convicted during the Salem witch trials were put to death by hanging.
Okay.
As was Martha Corey, and not be burning at as the popular myth was hold. What you may not know is that under English common law, a person that refuses to plead guilty or not guilty could not be tried. Obviously, it meant to being a subject of torture.
Okay.
So the accused would protect his heir. So basically, if you considered yourself guilty and saying that you were considered a witch and you go with the hanging, you have to give up all your merchandise, all your property, all your values that would be going to your, say if you had children that were left behind, they would got nothing.
Damn.
So Mr. Corey ended up saying he was not who he was, and he says, yeah, so he died under the torture instead of being accused so he could protect his heirs.
So he got pressed.
And the method of pressing used to implement this policy was to tie the naked prisoner down on the ground, laying his or her back, placing a board on the person's chest and abdomen, and adding stones or iron weights, gradually increasing the weight, suffocating the victim slowly. This process was expected to take at least a day or two, giving the accused a full opportunity to experience tremendous discomfort and a forced plea. Instructions for the process include giving the victim bread and water the first day, but then again give him brine water the next.
Nice.
This process expects to take at least a day or two, giving the account a fully opportunity to experience tremendous discomfort and force of plea. And Mr. Corey, despite his great age, endured the punishment for 2 days before he finally died, calling for more weight every time he was asked to plead.
All they had to do was put a board on top of him and have an elephant step on it.
Okay, strange story. This was posted today, about 3 hours ago.
Okay.
Okay, a cattle breeding farm in Australia is in the load of a hurt after 100 cylinders of prized bull semen went up to smoke in a fire. The blaze early Tuesday in Yarman Herd Services, which offered artificial insemination and breeding advices to farmers, caused 100 psychogenetic cylinders containing the bull sperm to explode and splatter the burning building, according to Daily Mail Australia. The fire was a huge blow for the business. Spokesman Aaron Thomas told the Australian Broadcast Company, the actual cylinders are worth between $500 and $1,000 per unit, but the semen inside them varied in prices.
And this has what to do with the show?
We're coming... Well, you said weird and strange and all that stuff. This is kind of weird. This is kind of strange.
It has nothing to do with paranormal, though.
We're coming into as the owl season, so there would have been substantial amounts of semen inside the tanks that were lost.
Oh, my God.
Which was owned by our local farmers and can range in the value from $5 per straw to $95 per straw. The cause of the fire was being investigated, according to the journalist Bonnie Barkmer. Putting out the fire was a unique challenge because the lids of the cyrogenetic cylinders were just popping off the top and projecting were being thrown from the building. Firefighters faced so many sticky positions that they fought the blaze for more than 2 hours before bringing it under control.
Okay, next story. I don't think our listeners are really going to care for that one.
Oh, it's still funny, though.
Not really.
Okay, this one is about a location, and since we are having a team from Wisconsin, I thought this story would kind of flow into play. And it's about a location in Wisconsin.
Hell, why don't you start with that first?
Well, I figured the last story of the day this would be interesting.
Okay.
This is called the Lorelei Inn. It's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And looking for some good German food, and someone had wrote about the place, as in she went in there to eat, and then she learned more about the stories of the place. So this reporter went in, and her title thing is, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, looking for some good German food? Lorelei Inn may be the place for you. Built in 1926, this restaurant was named after a woman in Germanic folklore named Lorelei.
Mm-hmm.
She falsely accused of bewitching men, but was soon pardoned. Unfortunately, her victory would be short-lived. She climbed a rock looking for her unfaithful lover, slipped and fell to her death.
Oh, ouch.
Lorelei Inn has only been owned by 2 families and doesn't have a city pass. However, it is believed to be haunted by several spirits.
Ooh.
Footsteps have been heard in the upstairs area. One of the spirits believed to be haunting this restaurant is a former owner named Leonard Hack. He supposedly hangs out at his once a favorite place, the bar. Many have felt his presence there, as well as a smelt cigarette smoke. He is also believed to visit the basement area where the office is located.
Okay.
Objects move around on their own. Sometimes pots fall off a hook. The TV turns on by itself. There's also a haunted table in the corner where diners have gotten strange feelings and have asked to be moved to another table. Give the Lorelei Inn a visit if you want some ghost with your meal.
Okay. I wonder if Lorelei knows about the Lorelei place.
Who knows?
That'd be funny. All right, then. Our first guest is the founder of Fox Valley Ghost Hunters. He is the co-author of Wisconsin's Most Haunted, Volume 1 and 2. Also, he is an author of Archives of the Ghost Hunter, released end of 2018. He has been featured on U.S. cellular commercials in 2016, and some of them have over 4 million views. You've heard him on the radio shows from Coast to Coast to Late Night to the Midlands, Fade to Black, Hillbilly Podcast, and on Beyond Reality with Jason Hawes, the star of Ghost Hunters. He's also been featured on local TV stations like Channel 12, in Rhinelander, Channel 5, Green Bay. His team, Fox Valley Ghost Hunters, has been featured in newspapers from the Huffington Post to Milwaukee Journal. They have been in one of the biggest paranormal magazines out there called the Paranormal Underground. This year, they will be filming at various haunted locations around Wisconsin to be on Season 1 of Truth or Legends in Your Hometown. Hey, that sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? Coming out May 2020. Craig will be joined by his lead investigator, which has had paranormal experiences since she was little and throughout her entire life. Growing up, she has always said that she's heard spirits and continued to have activity everywhere she lives. It is a part of her life and a part of who she is. She is interested in all things paranormal and loves researching the history of the locations. She is honored to be part of such an amazing team, and she is looking forward to all of their future investigations. So let's welcome to the show Craig Nehring and Melissa Clevenger of the Fox Valley Ghost Hunters. How are we doing this evening, folks?
We are great. How are you doing?
We're doing all right. Where'd Melissa go?
I'm here.
There she
Hello.
is. There she is. So, just kind of step back a bit here. Have you heard about that place called the Lorelei in Green Bay?
I have not, no.
Wow. And you've lived there how long?
I lived there for a while, but yeah, not anymore, but I never heard of it.
Wow. First time I've heard of it, and I'm just wondering if Lorelei knows about Lorelei.
Huh.
So, well, we are happy to have you on the show today. And, man, this is a lot of impressive things here that you have done. I mean, let's see. You've been featured on U.S. cellular commercials. Well, what does that consist of?
They asked us to do 3 haunted locations, 2 that were actually in Wisconsin and another one that was in their coverage area.
Mm-hmm.
And they it was basically they wanted to call it In the Middle of Nowhere, the Haunted series. So they basically hired us to come on in and do some haunted things. And they also did the first 360-degree video, which some of them had over 4 million views. They used 360-degree camera while we were investigating.
Oh, wow. So how long was the segment for?
Each segment was only probably about 4 minutes long.
Ah, Okay. But hey,
But it did take about 3 days to film, so I mean, and there was cuts, reshoots, everything had to be perfect. So.
Wow. Dang, that's pretty cool. Let's see, you've also been on Coast to Coast. Were you on it with Nori, or were you on it with what's his name? Played the black guy.
It was Art Bell, but it was
Art
Jim
Bell.
Nori.
Jim Nori.
Yeah, no, I was with Jim Nori.
He was with Jim Nori.
But you don't know the one that's on Fade to Black.
My brain's about blank right
Jimmy
now.
Church.
Jimmy Church.
My
Yep.
goodness, where have you been?
Yep, I had Jimmy Church. Yep.
Yeah, we've been on Coast to Coast with Jimmy Church, also Fade to Black. You gotta tell me, what in the world is the Hillbilly Podcast?
An interesting show. I think it originates down in the southern parts of the states. Really nice guys, though, that run it.
Huh. Yeah, I read that, and I'm just like, what? Hillbilly Podcast? Now, we've been on the same one with Jason Haas, Beyond Reality. That's a really cool show. Let's see, you've also been featured on local stations like Channel 12 in Rylander and, of course, Channel 5 Green Bay. What does that consist of? Is it basically from the U.S. Cellular commercials, or is it something else?
We did some stuff through Halloween. They had all special segments for like places that we investigated, like the Berlin Tannery. So they came in and did a nice little segment on our investigation there, and then followed up with the news broadcast.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they've done that to us over at the Riverview Mansion in Metropolis, Illinois. That was pretty cool. So I see that you've also been in the Paranormal Underground.
Yep, we had a really big article on us. I bet you it was at least 4 pages long. It covered summer wind. It showed a picture of all of us standing in front of Waverly Hills.
Oh, cool. What year was that, or what year and month?
I'd have to look, but it was last year, I believe. So.
Oh, okay. I think I was on the cover of Paranormal Underground. I think it was January 2017, I believe. And they did a story on us as well. So, well, let's see. You guys are filming at various haunted locations all around Wisconsin to be on Season 1 of Truth or Legend in Your Hometown. What do you think of that whole project?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we had a great time at those 4 locations, that's for sure. And of course, we've already seen the first preview of episode 1. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's featuring your team as well as First Ward School. So, a lot of my listeners don't know anything about the First Ward School, so if you'd like to elaborate on what the First Ward School is and some of your experiences there, I'm sure they would love to hear it.
So First Word School is in Grand Rapids, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin Rapids. Oh my gosh, I'm going to send people to the wrong place. So we've been there several times, but we've had some really amazing experiences there. We get a lot of EVPs and ghost box sessions with a little girl called Betty. We've had some things with a boy called Oscar.
Okay.
The janitor is Mike. So we just have a lot of repeat where the names come across. A lot of people get touched. They get grabbed. Craig, do you have more you can add?
Actually, quite a bit. A lot of times when you sleep there, a lot of people have had the covers and the blankets pulled off of them while they're sleeping. You hear a little girl in the hallway say hello and stuff. And me and the owner, Justin, that runs the school and stuff, up in the attic while we were investigating up there, we both had this funny feeling that something was like almost like tickling us. It felt like we had both walked into an insulation barn full of insulation and stuff, and it's like we were all just itching all at once.
Oh, wow. Well, I do remember us staying in the blue room, and right next to the bed was the what, Paula?
Huh?
Are you not paying attention?
I'm sorry, I've got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Well, you need to pay attention. The Blue Room. What was in the room with us?
Oh, at the ward.
Yes,
School.
that's what we're talking about. First ward school.
Next
to the bed.
We had the H.H. Holmes' murder chest with all of his. He had the secret drawer in the bottom of it where all of his weapons were in.
That was a bit freaky to be sleeping in a room that has that chest.
Everything was freaky at that school. It's not just that.
Not really. It was an interesting school. I mean, the whole place was painted like watercolor, and the rooms are just phenomenal. The red room is just crazy, especially with the table and those lion chairs. And there was even a mummy cabinet that opens all by itself. Yeah, that was a kind of crazy place. But
yeah, it's a very neat place to be, and it's actually one of those places where you can investigate. And I sleep there like a baby. I mean, I fall asleep, and I have some of the best sleep in that school.
Well, I know I was up to at least maybe 1:32-ish, because I was dumping all the footage to an external drive before I could crash. I was too wide awake and full of adrenaline after we did our shoots, because we were just going from, taking care of that, running all the lights, and oh my God, it was crazy, but it was fun at the same time. And then, of course, we went...
Yeah, and very hot, too.
Yes,
yeah.
That too. And then, of course, we went to other places that our viewers are probably going to see in May 2020. We went to the National Railroad Museum, where the Eisenhower actually sits. That was pretty interesting. The evidence that you guys captured there, which we're not going to disclose. And
nope, but it is an interesting place.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And the Captain's Winery.
Captain's Walk Winery, yep.
Yep, that's it. Captain's Walk Winery. That was interesting. Not going to give anything away about that either. But my favorite of all is the EVP that we got at the Groppe Market. That was unbelievable. And I will have you know this. I've actually tested it with a program that I have that can actually tell if it's human or not. And, well, it basically told me it's not human.
Well, that's not
I
good.
could have told you that.
So that was pretty interesting. But without giving anything away, what was that recorded on? What type of digital recorder?
That was my Tascam, the same one you have. Sorry.
The DR5?
No, the...
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, the big one.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Are you
I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Are you standing close to Craig? Because you're getting an echo.
A little bit. Let me walk away.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to sound like, get ready to rumble. We don't want to do that.
That's the effect I was going for.
Hello. I am in a cave.
Better.
Well, I told you we're coming from a studio, so we can do some crazy stuff. So, all right, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. How long have you been a ghost hunter? Let's go ahead and start with Melissa, and then we'll jump to Craig.
All right. So basically, kind of how you said in my bio, I've had experiences all my life. I've always been interested in the paranormal. It's kind of who I am. But I actually have, it was only about 2 years ago that I started on a team, and that was out of St. Louis. So, pretty far from me, like 12 hours. So
Okay.
about a year ago, I found Fox Valley Ghost Hunters, and I connected with Craig, and been with them ever since.
Okay, so do you care to elaborate on what the experience that you had when you were little?
So pretty much all my life, I've always, seen spirits. They never really interacted with me. They would just, I would see them walk by me in my house. They would raise from the side of my bed or just be standing in my room.
Okay.
It wasn't like they ever looked at me or noticed me. They were just there.
Okay.
I've also always heard, like, gotten information, like I just hear in my head. So I've kind of had that all my life. I think most of my life I thought that was normal, but I've pretty much most of my life I kept it a secret, though. Very few people knew.
Okay. So did your parents know about this, or were they actually thinking?
No.
Okay.
No.
So they weren't thinking it was an imaginary friend then.
No. I think they always knew because my dad, I shouldn't say this, but he used to take me like to dog races and stuff so I could pick out the dogs that would win. But yeah.
Okay. All right, Craig.
Yep.
How long have you been a ghost hunter?
I've been ghost hunting since about 2010.
Okay.
And kind of got my start. I lived up in Minocqua, Wisconsin, so I was really close to Summer Wind, the mansion that we've investigated many times. And Summer Wind has been featured in almost every book and magazine out there for many, many decades.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I got my start. And when we were younger, we used to see shadows and stuff and things that we couldn't explain. But back then, there wasn't too many ghost hunting shows on TV. The ghost hunting shows didn't start really till the late 90s, the early 2000s, when they really started popping into view. And I thought to myself, hey, it'd be interesting to get a ghost hunting team together. So in around 2010, kind of got a team together, which consisted of mostly of family members at that time. But we got a big break into doing a haunted hospital in New London, Wisconsin, and the Post-Crescent, a newspaper, was there, and they were able to follow us around on the investigation. And we had captured a little girl saying, Mommy, on audio, and the guy from the newspaper had also captured it on his audio equipment, too. And they brought us a big article on us out on Black Friday of 2010, and we kind of went viral from there, so...
Okay. But when you first started, I mean, how did you get interested in the paranormal? Did you actually follow a team that showed you what to do, or did you figure it out on your own? You watched stuff on TV? I mean, how did you actually know what to do and then start a team?
Pretty much figured it out on my own, but I had watched enough ghost hunting shows out there to, basically figure out what type of equipment to use and stuff. I only started out with like a voice recorder and a digital camera, and I think those are the two best pieces of equipment out there, especially a voice recorder for capturing audio and EVPs.
True.
I mean, sometimes you don't even need all the huge fancy stuff. It's just it helps to also verify that something's there.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So once you started the team, now this is your very first team that you started, Fox Valley Ghost Hunters, or did you have a team prior?
Nope. It was our first team, Fox Valley Ghost Hunters. We've been doing just some amazing things for the years, so we've all pretty much, a lot of us stayed together, but we got a lot of new members as well. A lot of the older members, they go off to college, they're younger. Nobody gets paid, so it's kind of on the volunteer basis. So a lot of people go off to work, different places. We had a lot of really awesome investigators through the years that just kind of moved on, but we've helped start out, or I should say we helped start some other teams that are out there as well to get their feet on the ground as well.
Gotcha.
So what was your first case?
Very first case actually was the place where the Post-Crescent had followed us around. We had a call from somebody who had a old hospital that was just kind of sitting vacant, and they had called us up to come in and do an investigation. And actually, it was my very first time in there where we were in the basement, and there's two basements. It was kind of an odd, weird hospital. There was like the normal basement, which was creepy enough as it was, and then there was a sub-basement below that, which had like, the washers and dryers and other boilers and stuff down there.
Yeah, boiler
and there's
room.
a staircase leading down to the boiler.
Yeah.
And it's pitch black, and I looked down into the darkness, and I said, is there anybody down there that can make a noise? And a voice that we all heard clearly goes, no. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the first voice I've ever heard. I actually had to take a step back. Every hair on my neck stood up, and I had to, I didn't leave the building, but I had to take a couple steps back because I've never heard that before in my life, and it's also the very first place I captured an EVP of I had asked if something could touch me on the shoulder, and it said, "Of course not."
Oh, wow.
And we all know that's a lie because they touch you all the time.
Wow. Well, having a basement and a sub-basement kind of sort of reminds me of St. Albans Sanatorium. It actually has a basement and a sub-basement that takes you down to the boiler room.
We were there. They had the bowling alley, the couple lanes in the basement.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I actually bowled on that with one pin. I got a strike. It was awesome.
Nice. That's got to be pretty hard.
Oh, God. We set the pin on up, and I'm like, all right, you going to bowl with me? We were playing bowling sounds, and I'm like, okay, it's my go. I threw it, and you hear the all the way on down, and knocked that one little pin over, and Chad's like, that's a strike. And I'm like, yay! Yeah, it was weird. But it was kind of cool, though. But the funny thing that happened with that, the pin setter started making a noise, and a little pink pin fell out.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, there's no power down
there. I didn't
there.
even know those things even worked. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. I'm going to assume that it was probably just barely hanging on a thread. Once the ball went down there, it caused a lot of vibration on the lane, and it just basically vibrated and made it fall off.
Yep.
So, what? Let's see. Paula loves to ask this question.
What is the strangest case have you ever dealt with?
How about in the microphone?
What's the most strangest case have you ever dealt with?
The strangest case?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the strangest case, I'm trying to think. The creepiest. How about the creepiest case?
That'll work.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay. We did an investigation out near Oshkosh, Wisconsin. There was a girl that had called us up and said, there was a private investigation. There was a girl that called us up and said that her sister was having issues, like things were dragging her down the stairs in the middle of the night or trying to pull her off the bed while she was sleeping.
Yikes.
And, yeah, kind of crazy. And we went there, and we did our preliminary walk around. She was on the couch at the time. We were sitting on the stairs. It's like we call it like a tri-level house where it had the upstairs living room, and downstairs was like another living room with another bathroom, carpeted stairs and stuff. And we were sitting there talking for a little bit, and suddenly she gets lifted up into the air and tossed onto the floor in front of us. And at the same time, we had a girl that was sitting on the carpeted stairs, and we felt something run past her and tried to push her down the stairs. And we're like, holy cow. So we thought it was maybe something a little more on the negative side. So we went downstairs to the bedroom where she had her bed and stuff, and we wanted to read some Bible passages. And as we started reading Bible passages, and she was standing next to the bed, and as we started reading Bible passages, she was lifted straight up into the air and thrown against the wall. It was crazy. So we thought, nah, we're going to need some extra help on this. So we had actually called a priest that was in the area that I happen to know that worked on a couple other cases for us. And he came in probably within a couple days later and sat and talked to her for a while, and then came up to me and said, Craig, he goes, it's not the house that's haunted. The girl's possessed.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so needless to say, he came back the next day, did a
exorcism?
What do you call it? Like an exorcism. Yep, did a full-fledged exorcism. It took like 3 or 4 of us to hold her down, and at one point her eyes rolled back in her head and said, I do not serve you.
Wow.
When he had asked for the name of whatever was within her. So, long story short, after like probably about 3 hours, he was able to convince whatever was taken over her to go away. And I think she's been somewhat pretty okay since then. So.
Wow. So you actually got to experience a true 100% exorcism live.
Exorcism, yeah. And we had videotaped it because he wanted us to archive it for him. And I got rid of the videotape because that's something I really don't ever want to see again.
Right. Man. That's crazy. Yeah, that's creepy. I've never experienced that. You? No? Not yet?
We've had strange things happen to us, but not that.
Yeah, we've never been picked up and thrown. We just had a lot of shit thrown at us.
Well, I had one other quick thing that I can tell you too. We had an investigator on investigation at a place called the Berlin Tannery, an old tannery where there were tan hides and stuff with deer and everything else that would come in. And one of our investigators, her name was Julia at the time, and we were upstairs, and she walked past us while we were standing in the dark asking questions to see what was there. And she points down the hallway and says, "You see him?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" She goes, "You don't see him? He's right there. He's looking right at you. He don't like you." And I'm like, what in the world is that? So she suddenly turns around, stomps past us, walks down to one of this like little living area, and just totally stops and says, "I'm done." And I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean you're done?" And then she walks outside, disappears for like 20 minutes, and we find her sitting by a tree. And kind of, we went out and saged her by using some, traditional Native American sage, white California sage and stuff to sage her.
Right.
And she kind of started feeling better, and she said she couldn't remember anything from 30 minutes prior to that.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, the only thing we've had weird is 5-inch deep weld sockets thrown at us. That's about it.
That looks like it would hurt.
Yeah, well, we didn't get hit with it because also we hear it like that and then hear clink, clink, clink as it hits the ground. But our investigator, Sammy, she got hit in the back with a piston. And I don't know what it is with her. Whenever we take her with us, she gets her butt kicked. She got her head slammed back into a workbench, and you can actually see, like, when someone took her head, pulled it forward, and slammed it back, you can see that she got sucker punched on thermal. And, of course, hitting the back with a piston. And one thing I have never seen in my entire life, well, I can't see my entire life, but we've been doing this for, 6.5 years, 7 years, something like that? 6 years?
2012.
Since 2012, we've been doing this. And I watched a scratch develop on the side of her arm, her left arm, mind you. And it just went right across her arm, under her Apple Watch, up and over the top of her hand.
Wow.
And yes, we do have it on video. But yeah, that was amazing to watch. It just happened like right then and there. And I'm looking at Chris Houston, and he's like, "Wow." I'm like, who did we piss off? That was my thought. Have you ever been scratched before?
I've been scratched a couple times. Not once recently at an asylum in Sheboygan.
Is that the asylum?
But other than that, maybe a couple times.
Is that the asylum that you are currently booking right now?
Yep.
Yep.
You get scratched at the very same asylum that that's basically home for you now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Welcome. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to treasure that for a while.
And not only that, but it was in the chapel of the asylum. So.
Oh, jeez. So, what exactly happened before you got scratched?
Actually, I'm not even certain what I was doing.
Actually, right before he was scratched, nothing happened, but when I went over my audio, right before he was scratched, there's an EVP that says, "that one." Almost like saying, "Scratch that one."
Go for him. Paula's not that lucky. We were at the Malvern Manor, and we're in Hank's room, and Hank despises women. He taunts them. So she's like, "So tell me why you're taunting women. What do you have against women? Do you get a kick out of it?" And all of a sudden she goes, "I'm getting a burning sensation on my back." And I'm just like, "Yes, you got scratched." And she's like, "Although I'm not sharing your enthusiasm, but come over here and look." And sure enough, I lifted the back of her shirt. There's a scratch just going straight down the middle of her back from the bottom of her bra. And she couldn't do it herself because, well, she's holding the camera.
Plus, I had the Eddie in my hand, too.
Yeah, well, you had an Eddie, too?
Yeah, I had
You were multitasking?
Yeah, I was multitasking.
No. Wow.
Yeah, it seems like people around you always get scratched. If I remember right, it was Farrar, where I was filming for you guys, holding the camera, and something scratched me in the basement down there.
Yeah, you got scratched in the boiler room while Cheryl was talking to the principal or the janitor. Yeah, that night I'll never forget, and I'm sure you won't either, Mister. I'm going to sit on a bucket and wait for the lid to pop and make me run.
How's your leg, Gavin?
Oh my God!
He still has that indention on his leg.
Yes, I do. It's a freaking scar. Slam right into that other bucket of tar.
You're not going to forget me now.
Oh my God! I swore that sound came from behind the metal door that I was standing next to. Pitch black, and all of a sudden I hear that, and I'm like, shit! Run! Pow! Right into
Gavin
a
runs
bucket.
away like the guy dude run.
Oh, man. That thing was behind me. Of course I'm going to run because it scared the shit out of me. You hear this loud boom in pitch darkness. Well, you got all these cameras going. You can't see what's going on, and it vibrated behind me. It echoed. I thought it was behind me. Well, of course, the bucket echoed throughout the whole damn room. But, yeah, first thought I had was, I'm not going to stand here. I'm going to run. Yep. Sure did.
Bad idea.
Oh, it was a bad idea. I didn't even know that was there. Who put that there? Who put some...
Someone that was sitting on it.
Probably Craig.
Well, no, it wasn't the one he was sitting on. He was sitting on one that was over toward,
the boiler room. Yeah, yeah.
By a boiler, yeah. So someone decided to stick that in the middle of the damn floor. So I just go running into it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Farrar was real interesting. We had an exciting, incredible investigation there. And I'm going to go ahead and... Now, I know a lot of our listeners have heard us tell the story, but you go ahead and tell us your side of the story about getting woke up at midnight while you guys were sleeping above the gymnasium in the Farrar.
Yeah, it was actually the very first time we ever investigated Farrar. I'd like to say it was like around 2011, and it had to be about 3 in the morning. We were zonked out because we had a long drive down there, and then we investigated till about 2 in the morning, and I woke up probably about 4:30 in the morning, and it was still dark out, and I could hear what sounded like people bouncing basketballs in the gymnasium playing basketball, of course. And I looked over at my friend, and I said, I think some of our team members are down there playing basketball. Let's sneak on down there and see if we can scare them a little bit, or maybe play some basketball with them. Mm-hmm. So we wandered down to the gymnasium. As we walked down the stairs and turned the corner and walked into the gymnasium, we noticed that all the lights are off, and there's nobody playing basketball, and all of a sudden the noise stopped.
Yeah. So, jump a few years ahead. We come out there. We're sitting in our base camp, our big, huge tent that can hold, 3 queen-size beds in it. We got our base camp inside there. And I was experimenting with the Ghost helmet, which is put out by K.D. Stafford. You might have seen him on Ghosts of Morgan City. He is the mad scientist, or paranormal scientist. So he brought me a ghost helmet, and I put it on, and he's basically showing me how to use it. And, I started seeing different shapes and different colors. Well, right next to me is the Devil Jersey box, which is similar to a portal, but it's completely different. There's no white noise. It has your reverb and your noise gate and a compressor, but it alleviates all the white noise, just gone. So whatever comes through it is hopefully voices or what actually going to happen. So I'm taking off the ghost helmet, I'm putting it down, and all of a sudden I hear Gavin across the thing, and I'm like, hey, that thing said my name. Right after it did that, there's the sound of a basketball game. And I remember your eyes went wide, and you're like, that's the sound we woke up to. And I'm like, that's a basketball game? And we're listening to it. I mean, we sat out there for a good, 5 minutes listening to this. You could hear the sneakers screeching on the ground, on the floor, the slamming with the headboard, people running up and down the bleachers. And I'm like, well, maybe this is a real basketball game. But it doesn't make sense, because if it was a basketball game for real on a radio, you would hear cheering, clapping. You didn't hear any of that stuff. Sometimes you might hear an announcer. You heard the buzzer. So you told me, it's like, that's what you woke up to. And when you guys walked on down to the gymnasium, opened the door, it stopped. So I'm like, all right, well, let's go ahead and test that theory. I picked up the double jersey box, and we all walked in, even had a camera on us. And go through the doors, downstairs, get to the gymnasium door. I'm like, here it comes. So we open the door, and it's still going. And we're listening to this thing. I mean, we're listening to all the slam dunks and the buzzer, announcer. I swore we heard a pep band starting to play. So once we get into the gymnasium, I go ahead and lay the double jersey box down in the center of the floor. And I think there was a big wheel that was next to it, right?
Yep, there's a big wheels or something there.
Okay, well, I put a digital recorder on the seat of the big wheel, and we started doing our EVP session. But I figured, you know what? I really want to test this because we're actually hearing a basketball game. But let's see if there is anything here we can capture visually. So I got the Eddy. We put it on one side of the court, and you saw the little dots move, which was freaking phenomenal. It started ticking up on the geophone. Yeah. So then I put the Phantom Vibe on the other side. So when those dots disappeared from that one side, they popped up on the other side. So I'm like, we're actually seeing this going back and forth with this game. It's a Phantom freaking basketball game. And I had two cameras on it. You were up above with your cell phone. You were trying to film, but it was pitch dark. All you could see was just my IR lights, but it really didn't help. And we actually record this basketball game, this Phantom basketball game. The fun thing that really got me is Paula went and looked at the board on the wall, and she just happened to pick the right name of the basketball player, and the announcer announced him at the same time.
Oh, yep.
That was freaky. But the Farrar is definitely a place to investigate because it does not disappoint unless it does not allow you to take your footage home.
Yep, like you.
Yep. 768 gigabytes of useless crap that I can't use. I mean,
wow.
Well, I figured out what happened. When we did the recording for the basketball game, I physically picked up the recorder, took it outside, and went to base camp and laid it and left it at base camp. The cameras were still inside the gymnasium, so what I did is I took the cards out, left the cameras, dumped the cards, and then put the cards back into the camera.
Oops.
Rest assured, I am believing that I should have took the freaking cameras with me. And I
probably
would have had all my stuff because everything on the outside is beautiful. All the footage that we did outside, the drone, everything, but once we go inside, gone. Trashed.
Yeah, we had did just a couple of events there just recently, and Melissa saw some stuff. Maybe she can tell you.
Ooh, what'd you see?
So our last trip there, we tried something a little bit different. We had on our SB7 Ghost Box, we had a little girl come across, and we asked if she wanted to play a game, and she said yes. So we got in a big circle, like 15 people, and we left a spot for this little girl, and we actually played Duck, Duck, Goose, and we ran around and everything. We played the whole game. It was so much fun.
Oh, wow.
But as we were playing, I was looking at the door, like in the doorway, and there was like a person standing there, like full body, and I just kept staring at it, and after, I would almost say 5 minutes, one of the girls that was like 3 people away from me, she saw me staring all that time, and then she finally said, she goes, "You're staring at what I'm staring at, aren't you?" And I was like, "What are you staring at?" And she goes, "That guy standing over there." And then another person said, "That's what I'm looking at too." And we waited a minute and we shined a flashlight and nobody there. But it was pretty cool, but playing games was kind of fun. I had to interact a little bit.
I don't know if you guys experienced this or not, but I gotta turn my mic up here a little bit. There we go. I put the ghost helmet on while I was sitting at the steps of the auditorium stage. And I'm just sitting up there and wearing the ghost helmet. It's pitch dark. And I started to see a rift appear in front of me. And you know what a rift is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw a rift, bright light and everything, starting to appear, and what shows up in front of me is a little girl in a sundress and a little boy next to her wearing pilot goggles.
Huh.
And they were, like, right there in front of me. It's like they were playing dress-up.
Wow. We were actually in the auditorium when we were playing the games and stuff where the girl came across on the SB7.
Mm-hmm. And the neat thing is, Cheryl, which is a psychic medium, I did not tell her what I experienced. And I told her about the ghost helmet, and I said, you know, what it can do. And she's like, well, let me try it. So she goes into the very same spot, puts the helmet on, and she sees the little girl and the little boy.
Wow.
So they were there. So I'm assuming the little girl is the one that you guys were playing Duck, Duck, Goose with.
Yeah, very cool.
But there was somebody else that mentioned about it was one of our guests. Who's the one that mentioned that said that they saw the little boy with the goggles too?
That was when we were at SilCon and we were talking about we had the little round table chit
Yes.
And there was a lady that was another part of the other Iowa team that was there.
The one with the pigtails.
Yes, she
Okay.
talked about her having the experience about the little boy and the goggles.
Yeah, so it's been validated. I actually did see the little boy with goggles.
Very cool.
That's freaky, though. And Paula had a weird experience up in the principal's room. She tried to be a badass and tried to be a bad girl. And she goes running down the hall going, I'm going to run down the hall. Well, you do it. You did it good.
Well, I'm losing my voice, but...
Well, I'm not going to do it for you.
I said, I started, running down the hallway, and I was like, I'm just going to run down the hallway, and anything, and I had Gavin to yell and say, well, you're in pretend he was the teacher. Well, you're in trouble. You're going to have to go to the principal's office. And I stormed into the principal's office. I swing open the door, and then I turn around, slam the door back, sit down in the chair, and put my feet on his desk as if, what are you going to do about type scenario. And once we had and then we waited a few minutes, and I got up and went over to the door where the closet is, where you had that looks like a little spinning around in the circle thing going on in the bottom of the floor. And right there in the doorway, I felt the top of my hand start stinging really, really bad. And I looked at my hand, and it looked like
It was a ruler.
it looks like a shape of a ruler right across the top of my hand, and it was turning completely red.
That's what you get for being a bad girl. I would have just spanked the ass, but, that's just me. But she got smacked on the hand with a ruler. That was awesome.
Wow.
Weird thing about Farrar is during that basketball game, the whole darn school was dead.
Yes, it was. You couldn't get anything anywhere.
Nope. And once the game was over, then it came to life. It's like everybody was there watching the basketball game. So that was crazy. So, all right. Let's jump off of the Farrar and jump into, do you believe some people are more perceptive to paranormal activity over others?
Yes, maybe I should have Melissa, since she has more activity in the asylum than I do.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess the way I could say about this is when we do our asylum tours, we split into two groups. So we split like 10 people in each group.
Uh-huh.
And my group is always amazing. Like, we have crazy activity at that place. It's just, bangs and, like, the pills, the motion detectors. You can say, can you turn that light on? And it's on contact when you say it. Or the other night I said, if you want us to leave, can you make a loud bang? And it was actually the loudest bang that we've ever heard. It was so loud.
Okay.
But, yeah, we have lots of voices and just crazy. And Craig has his group, and it's usually nothing. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, I can hear a pin drop, and there's nothing else around. Of course, I also end up a lot of times with guests in our group that have been drinking and other things and having to kick them off, and it's hard keeping 10 guests quiet on a group that, especially when they're teenagers, so...
Especially when
I'm only laughing because Craig is trying to come up with excuses that just aren't as good. But Yes, I do think that some people are more, perspective, or can't get the word. But like I said, I seem to have activity everywhere I go. It kind of follows me. I think certain people do. I don't know why, if they're just more open to it or what.
Okay. So you're talking about that you are kicking people off that are drinking. You have intoxicated investigators coming in wanting to investigate?
Yeah, well, when we offer the tours to people and you get guests coming, we always tell them no alcohol, no drugs or anything, but evidently they don't like to listen. So we've put some more rules into it now that I'm not going to tolerate any of that anymore. And if they do it, they're going to be removed from the property.
Next step is going to have a breathalyzer at the door.
Yeah, blow into this before you walk in.
Not a bad idea.
Draw a line on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Draw a line on
line.
Walk the line, and you're going to have to get wand to make sure you're not carrying any weapons. It's amazing.
Yep. That's almost bad as going to the airport.
I know, right? Well, what?
Check the baggage.
What are you going to do? You got a bunch of idiots who want to be stupid that don't want to follow rules, so they're going to be the bad apples, going to screw it up for everybody else. So, you're going to have to do it.
The other ones complain that they're not getting their money's worth because there's obnoxious people on the thing. So that's something I'm not tolerating anymore. So,
well, how well is that regruntal throwing out? Does anybody retaliate and try to knock you out? Because I know I've dealt with some people like that.
Well, I can't drink.
No.
Boom.
No, the owner's got specific rules that if we have any problems with anyone, he says call the police. He likes to prosecute.
Oh, nice.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
That's perfect. Yeah, we need to have something.
Yeah, he's caught so many people in that place. He's got some weird designs to the asylum. So weird that if you were somebody that was breaking into the place, that you open one door and it closes behind you and you're locked in a room till the police get there. He's got it designed so strange. So.
Wow.
Oh, that sounds like there's a room just like that at St. Albans. Where you
Yeah.
Remember that room where they said they can't get to you until Monday morning?
Yeah.
And it almost shut on us?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you want to know what happened to me at St. Albans? It was crazy. Upstairs where I forgot what the kid's name was that has all those toys in there.
Jacob.
You had some activity in that room.
It was
Jacob, wasn't it?
Yep, Jacob.
Yep. I came out of that room. It had been about 1 a.m. As I turned to walk down the hallway, those lights, those fluorescent lights that are up on the ceiling inside the glass case, one of them let loose from the ceiling and swung down and just about hit me.
Ooh.
And I'm like, how the heck did that happen? We couldn't figure it out because there was another light. We tested the theory that it was up there in the ridges. There was no way that it would have just suddenly fallen down. And I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Wow. That sounds crazy. Well, I got a story for you. That one room that's right diagonal from Jacob's room, where you have a chair that is kind of next to a window where someone could sit there and kind of turn their head to the right and just look out the window. And there's also another chair on the other side where the chair is actually facing the window, so someone's sitting in front of the window. The one that got me is there was a chair in the center of the freaking room. We were in there. The whole room was 38 degrees. 35 or 38 degrees. I keep forgetting what it was, but the chair was 85 degrees in the center.
Wow.
Nobody sat in it. We just went into that room. So the funny thing is, I was sitting there going, well, dang, someone sat here to look out the window, someone sat here to look out the window. I go, well, probably got someone's ass is sitting in this chair. They got the hot seat. That's all I said. The next day, I'm going upstairs to get ready to walk down the grand staircase to do my intro for our episode, for the pilot of Paranormal Journey to the Unknown. And I kind of heard a noise in Jacob's room, and I kind of walked in there, but then I just looked over toward the other room where the damn chairs are, and I was like, I bet Hot Ass is still sitting there. Walk on toward the side, and I'm going down the stairs, and I'm doing my intro, and I'm like, guys, I'm going to have to cut for a second. I feel something on my shin. So I pull up my pant leg, and sure enough, there's this big red welt. I got kicked in the shin, so I'm assuming it's Hot Ass that did it to me. So we had to cut there, and then finally we got through that, but we were walking through the hallways to get to the birdcage, and once we got to the birdcage, I started talking about Dr. John C. King, how it was a all-boys school. He wanted to turn it into a hospital. Well, I talk with my hands. I don't know why, but I talk with my hands, and I kind of put my hand up, and my camera guy goes, "Dude, look at your hand," and I'm like, I go, St. Albans really got it in for me. I had paper cuts going from the bottom of my palm on down my arm, and it was bleeding. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have to cut for now, take 5, whatever. I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to get this cleaned up. I walk out of the birdcage, down the hall, down the staircase, out the door, get to the truck, and lo and behold, it's gone. Wasn't even there. But we have it on footage. But yeah, that place just really blew my mind. But some of the things that we captured there, we actually captured, I believe it is the crap. What was it? Electroshock therapy. You can hear the zoom, 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 zoom. You could hear that on our EVP recorder.
Wow.
So, all right, guys, we're going to have to, it's the top of the hour. We're going to go ahead and take our break here. And when we come back, we're going to go ahead and ask you guys, what do you use to communicate with spirits? So, you are listening to the Phantasmic Journey podcast, and we are coming to you live from the PGH studios, and we will be right back with our guests.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the
Spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Won't you bring me a baby brother? We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad
Hamilton
Council.
was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and Shelter Pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open. Don't speak with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit tunein2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Phil Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon. Your journey begins now. As you call the path and both the known and unknown, what do we understand? What answers are we trying to achieve? Are there answers? Tonight, we gather to find more verity. Join us as we take the journey into the unknown.
And welcome back to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast. We are coming to you live from the PGH Studios. Syndication is brought to you in part by WGKC and Live 365. And you can listen to the live broadcast via the Live 365 app for your Apple or your Android phone. But if you're like me, you want to go to the web, www.live365 and search for WGKC. We've been talking to the founder of Fox Valley Ghost Hunters and, of course, his lead investigator. But let's talk about the co-founder. He has written volumes 1 and 2 of Wisconsin's Most Haunted. We're going to go ahead and talk about that. He's also an author of Archives of a Ghost Hunter. You've seen him on U.S. Cellular commercials. He's been all over the radio. We're going to go ahead and bring them back on because we want to ask them, how do they communicate with spirits while they're investigating? Welcome back, Craig and Melissa.
Hello.
How are we doing?
I'm here.
You're here?
Yep.
All right, so let's get down to business here. What do you guys use to communicate with spirits while you're investigating?
So I always have my voice recorder. So I have the Tascam DR100 MK3. It's amazing.
It's a Cadillac.
I use the SB7 Ghost Box, so I use that quite a bit. I also just recently got a new Ghost Box made by Katie Stafford, so that one's very cool.
I'm going to shoot him. I'm still waiting on mine from him.
He does a great job. I also have a millimeter with REM, and then we have a REM pod. Craig actually just ordered an SLS camera, so that should be here hopefully by the end of the week, so that's kind of exciting.
What kind of SLS camera? The one from Bill Chappell or the one that's just basically a Connect with a tablet?
Connect with a tablet. I ordered the deluxe version off of the Ghost Hunter store with the bigger screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I know Bill Chappell makes some really good ones, but they're up there around $1,000 too.
Oh, I know, but the only thing is, if you don't have the Bill Chappell one, you're not going to be able to keep up with barometric pressure, temperature, distance, and I think there's something else on there. But he has all these sensors that are active while you are actually using the SLS camera, looking for the stick figures. There's also all that other information that's all on there at the same time. And it records, too. So not only are you recording the screen of what the SLS camera is seeing, but it's also making note of the barometric pressure, cold spots, temperature, and, of course, it also records sound, too. Forgot about that.
Well, maybe because we know you and we're such great friends, you can talk him into making us one for a better value.
He won't even make me one.
Jeez.
So, don't you think I've tried that?
Yep.
That was a no. So I decided to try to make my own. I mean, I kind of sort of got general ideas of what he's using and how he's using it, but I'm not going to quite give that information out due to the fact that, he came up with it first, but I am working on it. I should probably have something maybe next year. It'll be similar.
My only concern was that the Kinect's camera is going obsolete, or they're doing a different style now for Xbox and it's no longer available. Is that something you heard?
Oh, yeah, they're getting rid of them. That's the reason why we have, like, freaking 3 version 1s and 2 version 2s.
Yeah.
Well, you do know that the camera that's inside Bill Chappell's SLS camera is not a Kinect.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not. It's a different camera. It starts with a P. I have to look it up and I'll let you know, but, yeah, it's not a Kinect camera. It's something else. I've actually found those cameras, but the sad thing is he's bought them all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if the manufacturer is still manufacturing these cameras, but I know he bought a slew of them so he can actually put them into his SLS cameras. I'll have to figure out what the heck it's called. But, yeah, it's interesting. So.
Yeah, I know they don't have a very long range. I know the SLS is only 5 feet, 7 feet max range.
Yep.
distance-wise, so you better be in a small room and ain't going to work down a huge hallway unless they're right in front of you or you're pointing at a trigger object.
Yeah, you have to be at least, I believe it only can see 6 feet, and that's it.
Yep.
That's as far as it can go. It really doesn't matter what camera you put in it. You're only going to be able to see. I mean, the version 2, the only neat thing about that is you can see more than 2 characters. Whereas the version 1, you can only get maybe 1 or 2. Version 2, you can get up to 6.
Wow.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see a lot. Let me see. Now, there's the camera right there. I'm actually trying to pull it up here. And Paula's going to ask you the next question while I look this camera up so I can let you know what it is.
Can you dispel the notion that all spirits are evil?
Repeat that.
You might want to explain dispel.
Can you dispel the notion that all spirits are evil? As in, you have those people that come up to you and say, but you're dealing with evil spirits. Everything out there is evil. Why do you want to play with dead people? Why do you want to play with spirits? How can you decipher when you go into an investigation what you're fooling with, what you're talking to? Give them the dispelled notion that everything is not evil that you associate with.
Honestly, I can say, for the most part, every location I've ever been to, I don't feel like anything's evil. I mean, yeah, we have those places where we might get scratched, but I mean, to me, they were people too, and that's why I try to connect with them in that way. Like, you know, if it's kids in the place, you play with them and talk to them, and I mean, they were people once. So, I think a lot of times TV gets it really like Hollywood, where it's, you know, everything's bad, and it's not like that.
It's a demon. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's not demons everywhere. You're not going to get possessed everywhere you go. It's not like that.
Oh, we know a certain someone that loves to get possessed almost every episode.
Yes, I have seen that. No name.
And now you got his other counterpart actually doing the same damn thing. Oh, I don't feel good. I'm going to go outside.
Yep.
I'm like, come on. You got to be kidding me. You're going to fall for that crap too? Well, I guess, I mean, if it pays the bills, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I am so happy with our show, because we got full control of it. We can do it the way we want. We are not faking anything. We are not taking fake evidence. We're not going to do it ourselves. We're not staging. And the deal is, if we don't have to worry about having anybody sit there and tell us, oh, well, you need to do this for ratings. No, we don't. We're going to do it our way and our way only. And if they don't like it, well, you know where they can go. That's just being nice. I mean, that's the reason why I like doing it our way, because we don't have to worry about having anyone tell us what we can and can't do.
Yep, it's real.
So, and of course, you know, I'm always sitting there running around like a chicken without a head trying to set stuff up. But hey, it's my job. What I got to do. Okay, let's see what we got here. Where the heck did you find? Oh, there it is. So, this is going to be an interesting question for both of you. What can you tell people who are afraid of the supernatural or paranormal?
Let's see. Well, I can tell you, one reason I'm so passionate about it now. My brother was killed 20 years ago, and this past summer we actually investigated at my dad's house in Kansas. And so my brother, his name was Eric, and he was killed doing road construction. He was ran over. So the person who ran him over, we always blamed. So we blamed this guy for killing him. And we had the ghost box going, and the whole time we asked questions, we didn't hear any answers. We thought it was just, you know, dead space, so nothing. And we're driving back to Wisconsin from Kansas, and I was listening to my audio, and I actually did have stuff. So I had come across my audio, it said, sorry, I was killed, and then it said, Eric messed up. So I think he was saying, like, don't blame that other guy. But for me, I mean, you can help people, and it's your loved one sometimes, and just knowing that, they're still around with you. So.
That's true. That's very true. So, on that same subject, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody, and we usually get this exact same question too. Why is it that when we do an investigation, the people that we're always communicating with are from the Civil War era, or World War I, World War II?
I don't think stuff that I always get is that, but maybe it has to do with what places you're investigating, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But why is it that we're always seeing that? We're always communicating with them, other than someone that's like, a couple months, a year, or something like that? Why is it we're always contacting them?
I would say, that was such a traumatic time, and just such a scary, sad time, and I think some of them are just kind of, stuck here looking for, I guess, I don't know. Continue on, Craig.
Ooh, she passed the buck.
I passed the bar.
It's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of pain and suffering, and I was just, maybe they need answers, or they need to reach out.
Yeah. Well, the other question we usually get to is, and I got a theory for this one, which is kind of funny, though. Why is it we don't get any EVPs from cavemen or dinosaurs?
Hey, I think I read about that the other day.
Yeah, you know what my theory
is?
They
didn't know how to communicate.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I got a theory.
Is that where the growls and the grunts come from that we have at location?
Oh, yep. There you go.
If you hear a growl, that's the velociraptor. Yeah, if you hear a growl, that's a
dinosaur.
That's a velociraptor, and the grunt is the caveman.
I'm excited because you got
there. You go.
Hear big loud bangs and noises and stuff. That might be them.
Wait, do that again?
Oh, shut up! I'm not doing it.
You just had the hand motion and everything. Do that again.
How's that go?
Oh man, that's interesting with the hand gesture too.
You got the big old caveman. When I think, I don't know about you, but when I visually think of the caveman,
you think of Fred Flintstone.
I'm thinking of Caveman. The little cartoon where the guy has the big old glove.
Captain
I was thinking the Geico commercial, only a caveman can do it or something.
Oh Lord. That's when they were
Some
doing
of the stomach growls you think are dinosaurs.
No, that's just people that are hungry.
That's the caveman wanting to come out.
Or you had a pizza and it didn't agree with you.
Oh, that's everybody inside the asylum in the tunnels. Everybody's stomach's growling.
Oh man. Well, as long as you go ahead and keep that to yourself and don't shit on the floor, I'm good. Oh yeah, by the way, our show is uncensored. So
starting to wonder.
Oh yeah. we say a lot of outlandish stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so geez, this is gonna suck. He's been doing this for a long ass time. What locations have you investigated? He's gonna roll out this whole list.
Good.
Oh, me? Oh my God.
Maybe I should start. My list might be smaller.
Will be a lot shorter.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I did the Sally House in Kansas. I've been to Mineral Springs in Alton, Illinois several times.
Mm-hmm.
We did a church in Alton. Went to Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois 3 times. Supposed to go to Fox Hollow quite a few weeks ago, and it got canceled in Indiana.
Yeah, that place is gone.
That was on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, I mean, I had First Ward School in Wisconsin Rapids, Summer Wind, the places that we did for Truth or Legends that I won't disclose.
Oh, hell, I already named them.
Well, true, okay. Right now, kind of how you said, our home is the Sheboygan Insane Asylum. That's been 4 tours every Friday and Saturday night, so it's been weeks of that. I'm getting to know that place really well. I shouldn't say but I've been to a few more, and then Craig can start his long list.
Well, have you been to Waverly?
I have not been to Waverly. I need to go there.
Oh, wow. Waverly's pretty interesting. It's not bad, but it's pretty interesting.
We did Waverly. We had a problem when we did Waverly. The fact that it's so open was one of the problems. The other problem is that for the first time in weeks, the airplanes were landing on a certain runway. So we could time them taking off and landing every 2 to 3 minutes. And we had to keep our EVPs to time them to land, and when they took off, that we could only do the EVPs like every 3 minutes, and then we'd have to wait 5 minutes for a plane to land, and then try to do the EVPs again, and that was our problem. Other than Waverly, we've been to Mansfield Prison, where Shawshank Redemption was filmed, and Air Force One. That was a neat place. One I would definitely want to go back to.
Been there.
Villisca Axe Murder House twice, with some amazing activity there, from loud screams to one of the craziest EVPs we captured, and it was kind of weird. We can't really understand it, but one of the little girls that was killed there, her name was Lena,
right?
And there was a voice upstairs that says Legion meaning many, or something to do with the possible demonic entity, but it said Legion, Lena. It kind of pauses. It goes Legion, stops, and says Lena, I didn't do it. Now, I'm not sure what he meant by they didn't do it, but it was a very weird EVP. And then one of our guys on the team was taunting a little bit there, and we tell him not to taunt. We don't really believe in provoking at all. And something pretty much grabbed him by the balls, and they were on fire. It was bad. He had to leave the Axe Murder House and come back a little while later. It just did not like what he was doing. We also had the door in the Villisca Axe Murder House where the little kids wander inside, and the door opens on its own and closes on its own.
Oh, wow.
And it opened and closed on its own. So we went to Mansfield, then to Villisca, Ashmore Estates early on, Waverly Hills, Prospect Place in Trinway, Ohio, the Underground Railroad. And I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of other places, and I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head. Randolph County Insane Asylum, Post Town Elementary School.
Yeah, we are hopefully going to get into Randolph County. Villisca Axe Murder House, we haven't quite gotten into yet, but we're working on it. Let's see. We've been to Ashmore probably 3 times. Ashmore's pretty cool.
We've been to Waverly.
Oh, yeah. But I'm talking about
St. Albans, that was a trek. That was a 17-hour drive.
Oh, I'll bet.
Well, I got you beat. We got 19 hours.
Corpus Christi, Texas.
Corpus Christi, Texas. We had the USS Lexington.
Yep.
Well, we got a team investigation. We're going somewhere in February. We're going to investigate the Haunted Mansion at Disney World.
Oh, jeez.
Just kidding. But we are going down there as a team
thing. I thought it was
thing,
Disneyland that had the Haunted Mansion.
Both of them.
Oh, both of
them? No, they both do. Yep.
Well, I know the story behind the one in Disneyland and how the reason why it's haunted.
Yeah, there supposedly is haunted. I'd love to try to. That'd be awesome to get in there just to do a nighttime thing and say, hey, we investigated the Haunted Mansion at Disney World.
Yeah. Well, I know I've read all the stories about. There was actually families that have brought their ashes of their family members into Disneyland and Disney World both, and secretly have dumped the ashes in different places on the grounds.
For dusk. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what people don't understand is there has been multiple deaths in both locations. I have backstory on all those because I have done a personal research too on both locations, and it's amazing what has been hidden in the public's eye that is actually there that no one really knows about.
I was typing something, but did you happen to tell them that they sweep out the ashes every night?
Yeah, that's what the funny part of it is.
Yeah, these idiots are dropping their ashes off thinking that they're going to make the place haunted. Every night the damn place gets swept up.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, because people
Wait till they don't use it for coffee grounds by mistake.
Yeah, no. You got people to sit there and go in there with their food, they're eating their chips and popcorn and all that crap, which is really stupid. It says no food or drink, but you got these idiots that don't follow directions. But yeah, they're just throw all their crumbs and all that crap all over the place. So, yeah, whenever they go ahead and dump ashes and stuff, they just come through with a broom and gone. But the one at Disneyland is haunted due to the fact that one of the engineers brought his son to work with him one day. And I think his son fell into one of the tunnels and died. There was a hole above the ground or something, and then he fell, and he died on impact because he was just a kid. But he haunts the Haunted Mansion because it was basically the tunnel that takes the workers to the Haunted Mansion.
Wow.
So, yeah, that place is... The one in Disneyland is haunted. So, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Have you guys ever experienced anything that has totally terrified you? Or, in other words, scared the shit out of you?
I have not. Mine has not been ghostly related. I am terrified of bats, and it seems like they're everywhere that we investigate. I've got to get used to that.
Oh, like the ward school?
Come on. You remember the bat at the first ward.
One of our stores. You almost had that on camera.
Oh, no. I think I do have it on camera.
Oh, God.
Nice.
The one that was circling in the room?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I got that on camera.
And my reaction?
Don't show that as a blooper.
Oh, we've got plenty of bloopers on ourselves when it comes to bats and unphenomenal little creatures that we deal with they'll scare you more than the actual spirits.
Yeah.
We went to St. Albans and we ran across a couple of bats there. One of them
dive bombed Chad, which is hilarious. No, it wasn't Chad. It was Matt. It dive bombed him. I mean, it flew.
Oh my God.
We saw like two of them, and there was one that actually dive bombed him. He had a duck that flew over him.
Yeah, I think I had a bat that flew down the asylum corridor, which has very little room, and I think it hit my face when it flew by.
Yeah.
The wing.
Oh,
and I hit the ground.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that you can actually see them. I just don't want them flying near me. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But terrified. So that's it, huh? Bats?
Bats for me, yes. Spiders. Oh, and spiders. A little bit spiders, too, yes.
So no possums, raccoons, rats?
No, I'm okay with that.
Snake?
Just no bats.
I see a snake, I'm gone.
Well, if you only knew about your raccoon when you were at OSR.
Don't remind me.
They thought they had something paranormal till they got home and looked at the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were at the Ohio State Reformatory, and we got taken to an area where no one has investigated. And it's actually...
The basement?
No, it's an actual tunnel that's under the east cell block.
Oh, okay.
And we were deep in this tunnel doing an EVP session. I swear to God, down at the other end of the damn tunnel, there was a body. I could see the head and the shoulders. And I'm telling Joe, I'm like, dude, there's a fucking body down there. He's like, well, go see it. I said, hell no, I'm not going to go see it. You go see. We just stay right there in the damn middle. You can hear this all in the damn video because we recorded everything. And I'm like, go down there. He goes, I ain't going down there. You go down there. Shit, no, I ain't going down there.
It was 20 minutes of quality entertainment. It was funny as could possibly get.
And then we started hearing some scratching. I'm like, oh, shit, that thing's going to come near us. He goes, Lo and behold, I was scratching with a freaking raccoon that decided to walk along the side of the wall and head back toward where we were. And I think we scared the shit out of it while we were sitting there talking, going, I ain't going back there. You go back there. So then it ran back. But yeah, if you watch the footage, you can see the raccoon come out of the darkness, walk across the side, and head toward the tunnel where we were.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure if it came up behind us, I would definitely go see if that was a body. I'd be running past it. Well, sad thing is you can't run. You have to like kind of crawl or kind of slouch over and walk on your knees basically, or walk on your feet, but be hunched over like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Because you could not stand in there or anything. You could sit, but that's about it. So that basically terrified me, seeing that body down there, and I swear it's a body. I swear it is. If I show you the video, and you'll be like, there's a damn body down there. I'm like, exactly. I could see the head, the shoulders, and the freaking... Yeah. And all I kept thinking about is this damn thing crawling toward us.
It's a mummy.
Well, it could have been a mummy.
Or a zombie.
Shit. I don't want no damn zombie. But yeah, that's all I could think about is a damn thing crawling toward us. So I had a camera facing that direction while we had a camera on us. I was making sure I'm going to catch something. And then Paula frantically calls us on the radio. We're seeing an apparition in the boiler room. I got 7 people here, 7 witnesses. We all see it. One guy even took a picture. Get down here. Okay, we're in the middle of this damn tunnel. There's a body down on the other end, and there's a raccoon on the other side, and you want us to hurry up? Okay. So we did. We scurried on out of there, got all the way up down to the bullpen, back over to there. He shows me a picture on his phone. I'm like, I don't see shit. And then we start looking at the DVR, and I don't see nothing. We didn't see it, but all 7 of them saw it. Now, this kind of brings me to this weird situation. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it's happened to us twice. Where you actually see something on a device like maybe a cell phone or a monitor, but when you go back to look at the footage, say like the monitor, which is your DVR, you see it on the monitor, but guess what? It ain't on the DVR. You see it on the view screen of your camera, guess what? It ain't on the damn footage. We had an issue with that. That apparition in the boiler room did not show up, but they all saw it. You ever had that happen?
Yeah, there was a white mist that came down the hallway of Prospect Place on the 2nd level. No, actually, it was Edinburgh Manor that we were at, and it came down the top of one of the hallways, and we saw it. We all saw it. We even wrote down what time it was on the footage and everything, but when we went to play it back, it wasn't there.
See, how can they do that? How can... I don't understand.
It shows on the monitor, but it doesn't come up on the DVR.
I know. How do they do that? That just doesn't make any sense. It happens all the freaking time. Well, I wouldn't say all the freaking time. It's already happened to us 3 times. I mean, it's amazing.
But you do know... You ever have... I've ran into a couple teams that thought they have captured black orbs. And the reason they're catching black orbs, and I tried to explain this to them, that the reason they're catching black orbs is they're running the SLS camera, and the orbs of light that they see that come down hallways and stuff show up as black on an SLS camera system. You ever have that?
No. All of our stuff shows up green. Actually, we really don't see any orbs. The only way I can actually detect if it's a freaking orb is I have 2 cameras set up. I'll have one that is a regular full spectrum, and the other camera is just a run-of-the-mill camera that cannot see in the dark. And you run them both side by side. So if I happen to see something...
Yeah, the SLSs were picking up the black orbs as opposed to just the normal cameras were picking up any of the white glowy ball type ones.
Huh. Yeah,
weird. You might run into that eventually.
Yeah, maybe. But if you do my theory, you'll be able to catch an orb if it's real, because the run-of-the-mill camera that can't see in the dark will actually see it, because a real 100% orb actually has its own luminous, so it don't need to have light.
Yeah, it creates its own light. So.
Mm-hmm. I've only seen one since we've been in this business.
I've only seen one, too.
Yep. The one that I saw, the one that we saw actually had a tail.
Oh, well, yeah. I've seen that once, too, actually, in a old brewery in Green Bay.
Yeah, this one was actually in an
attic. Tailtown.
Yeah, this one was actually in an attic of a plantation house. Remember that? The orb with the tail?
Yeah.
That was freaky. But yeah, that was the only one I have ever seen. Other than that, it's dust. Insects. You know. But there is one I gotta tell you. It was at Ashmore Estates. This one I cannot explain. It is on the FLIR. I borrowed Robin Terry's FLIR during our filming our Halloween special there. And we were up in the... Where were we? In the music room? Where were we? Music room, I think, right?
I think it was the music room, because that's where we heard the 2 notes on the piano.
Yeah, we were in the music room. And we heard 2 notes play on the piano, which is really cool. But on the thermal, there was a ball that shows up. And it starts swirling around. It goes up and down, left and right. And I kind of move away from the thermal, and I look out into the darkness, and I don't see anything there. I go back to the thermal, and there it is. And it actually was at least 4 feet away from the wall. And I shine a flashlight over there, and there's no insect, there's no spider, there's no nothing. Go back to the thermal, there's that ball again. It's just dancing around. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then, of course, then it disappears, and then on thermal, I capture a woman's face in the doorway.
Wow.
So that kind of blew my mind. Oh, and we also captured Ulva, too, on the thermal, the little girl. That was interesting. But to this day, I don't know what the heck that ball was. It was just dancing around 4 feet away from the wall, at least 5 feet off the ground. So that was really interesting. I've never ever seen anything like that. I mean, it was just a little ball and just dancing around, having fun. So, oh my goodness. So, let's see. We can't talk about the 4 locations because everybody has to watch the show in May 2020.
No, but Craig has seen the preview. So what is your opinion without giving away much information about what you've seen in the preview?
I think it's amazing. It's really good.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's going to be something you want to watch.
Oh, yeah. We showed it to Dalen Spratt, Marcus Harvey, and Jawan Mass from the Ghost Brothers, and they are totally floored. They said that's freaking awesome. And Mike G. Well, actually, no. Let me run that back. Marcus said that's dope. And Jawan was like, "That's tight." What did Dalen say?
Oh, what did he say? And you had to come back and ask me what it meant. And
I know, right?
I done forgot what he said.
And then, of course, then we show it to Tennessee Ray Chaser, Mike G. Mike G said, "Man, that's badass." So
speaking of butts, I got a story that I think Melissa should tell you about of how ghost hunting can be a pain in the ass.
Okay.
So I was investigating in Mineral Springs in Alton, Illinois, and we had the room, where you have all your equipment, like your base. And we investigated for about 3 hours, and then we went back in, and I plopped down on a couch or like a bench with a cushion, and there was a big, completely rusty needle sticking straight up, and it went straight in my butt. All the way in. Ouch. And it hurt. I was probably like 15 years past due on my tetanus shot. So next morning I got to go into the doctor and, update my tetanus, and I had to be tested for all kinds of nasty stuff. And now my saying is that ghost hunting's a pain in the ass.
Wow. Ouch. Well,
Yeah.
Well, I can't really talk. I mean, I was feeling something weird on my shirt today. I was wearing a polo to work, and right under my arm, I felt something. I'm like, what the hell is this? I go, it feels like a stick. Then I pushed it all the way out with a frickin' needle.
Ooh.
Yeah, the needle's at work on my desk.
Okay.
It was inside my shirt. Couldn't figure out what the heck that was, but yeah, it's sitting on my desk at work. But dang, I would not want to sit on. Oh hell no!
Yeah, all the way in, and it was completely rusty. It was huge. It went straight through a nerve too, so yeah, that kind of sucked.
I'm not laughing at that, but Paula's over here shaking her head because when you said it was huge, she's like going, I'm not going to say it. She wants to. She wanted to so bad. She just kept shaking her head going, I'm not going to say it. It kind of reminds me of that one, what is it, Steve Harvey with Family Feud, two guys, and it goes, which one of the 7 dwarves is your wife during PMS? And both of them looked at each other and go, I'm not going to answer it. No. I was like, damn. So, yeah, I'll say it. That's what she said.
Yes.
Oh, shit, there's that picture.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, you never sent that to me, by the way.
Well, I'll have to send it to you.
Well, anyway, back to that one that I was telling you about, what they captured that apparition on the screen at OSR. We decided to go downstairs to that boiler room, and I was setting up a Kinect camera, the Kinect 2, and I'm facing it that general direction, and all of a sudden something started showing up on the screen. So she took her phone over there, and she has this face recognition box that decided to pop up, and it started snapping pictures all by itself. She got the picture of what looks like, well, she just sent it to me. It looks like a guy standing there. You can see his head, his shoulders, and everything. It's just wow. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh shit! You see, there's 2 of them. You got one right there. What about this one?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Look at that one.
I saw the main one that was staring at me.
Yeah, but look at that one. There's a face right there. Look at that.
I just know that one is very distinct, and I could tell that.
Really? Look at this one right here. That looks real distinct too. There's a jawline, a head, forehead. Looks like he's wearing a ball cap. Wow. But yeah, I went crawling under there. I'm going, okay, with on radio. I'm like, was it over here? No, you need to go more to the left. Of course, it's mirrored on the DVR system. I'm like, this way. She goes, your other left. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. So I'm actually standing in the same spot, and I'm like looking all around with a flashlight and wondering what could have caused it. And like where you see the head, there is nothing there that can actually show that. It's just this an AC duct, but this head goes above the duct, so it looks like this person's at least
6 foot tall.
I'm gonna say 7 foot tall. I bet you that was the tall guy that folded in half and shoved under the bed in solitary confinement.
That, or it's the spooky old maintenance man that everybody talks about. Because that was back down there close to the maintenance department.
Right, that's true.
But anyway, yeah. I don't know if any of your investigators or Melissa, if you can go into a room and tell if you're especially not alone and you feel like you're being stared at the back of your neck. That's how I feel.
Several times.
Yeah, I have done that several times when you go into locations, and that's when, if I don't have my, camera with me, but I'm happen to have my phone on me, I hurry up and bring my phone out and take a picture right quick of whatever it is, because you never know. And that's what happened at us at Octagon Hall. We weren't really investigating. I was just checking the place out, getting a feel of the place, when we got our first paranormal experience, and that's with Sammy in the barn.
Yep. Got the picture of an apparition. You most certainly did.
Wow. Very cool.
You guys haven't been to Octagon Hall, have you?
Nope.
Oh, you need to add that to your list. That is a cool place to go.
My list is getting pretty big.
She kept her mouth shut.
I was waiting.
She thought about it. She looked at me, and I'm looking at her. I got a finger pointed at her.
I knew what she was thinking.
It's a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit. My butt. Oh, my goodness. What else are we going to talk about? I'm plumb out of questions.
Let's see. You had talked about in the beginning, I wrote Wisconsin's Most Haunted, Volume 1, Volume 2.
Let's talk about you being an author. What got you into writing books?
Well, actually, it was my co-author that kind of came up to me. Her name was Enid Cleves, and she writes gangster books up in the North Woods, like Capone and Dillinger and Babyface and all them. And she wanted to get into writing ghost stories. So she had come to one of my ghost hunting tours that I had and said, hey, would you be interested in writing some haunted books? And I said, sure, I'd like to give it a try. So she's like, well, I'll do a proofreading because she used to be a professor or a teacher at a school. And it was basically our stories, and she just added some history to them and kind of, she kind of helped me along. So I was co-authored on the first 2 books, and then I decided I wanted to do my own book, which was Archives of a Ghost Hunter, on all of our investigations that were mostly from out of state. And I had that done. Actually, the people that proofread that book, and they did an amazing job. They did the cover on it and everything, were actually from over in Israel. And at first I thought I was being taken to the bank, that someone was just taking my money, because I didn't know that anybody did proofreading over in Israel. But no, they did an awesome job on it and everything, and I loved their quality of work and everything. And now I'm working on Archives of a Ghost Hunter Volume 2, which my new members on my team will actually be in, like Melissa and Travis and stuff. And, and Melissa's going to do the proofreading for me on this one. Because she said she knows how.
I'm still trying to write my first book.
And then I was just asked recently through the Fox Cities, which is like Appleton, Oshkosh, Green Bay area. They asked me if I wanted to write a book on the hauntings of the local area legends around here, and they said that they would do all the proofreading, all the advertising, everything for it. So I might do that too. So I might have to actually work on 2 books at the same time.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I started writing my book, and I got to, I think
Page 3?
No, I finished 1 chapter.
Oh.
And then I just kind of hit a brick wall, and I've been stuck there ever since. Now, Paula, on the other hand, how far did you get?
Which one?
Which one?
What do you mean, which one? The one that you've been working on, I did the cover for.
Oh, the first one?
It takes me about a year each time. It takes me about anywhere from about 7 months to a year to finish. If I actually sit down and do it, I could probably knock it off in 5 months.
Yeah, see, my book has to deal with all the experiences and the hardships and everything that goes on behind the scenes of filming The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown, all 4 seasons. And then hers is, what the hell is your title? The Past of No Tomorrow, or Past? What the heck is it called? You don't even remember the name of your own book?
Because I done threw that one away and started working on 2 others.
Yeah, there's a reason I picked Archives of a Ghost Hunter, because it starts with A, so it's going to be the first one in the category for people to pick.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, mine's just labeled The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown by Gavin Kelly.
There you go. Well, let me know when you get that done.
I'll be 50 by the time it's done. I got 1 chapter done. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Lucy, I have
You're busy.
6 chapters done.
Huh?
With Lucy, I have 6 chapters done.
Oh, yeah, wait, you're writing the book for it?
Yeah.
I thought you were doing the screenplay.
I am, but I'm also writing to get into, because the book has more details than what the movie has.
Oh, shit. Okay. So she's doing that, yeah. That's the movie that we're filming that takes place at the St. Albans Sanatorium.
Cool.
Because I get more of the historical factor into the book of how everything played out compared to what the movie's doing. So that, you have more of an understanding of the background of the family and all that stuff.
All right, well, enough of us jibber-jabbering here. Let's go ahead and let you guys have the floor. Go ahead and let our listeners know where they can find you, where they can find your books if they want to buy Wisconsin's Most Haunted Volume 1 and 2, where they can possibly pick up the Archives of a Ghost Hunter, and, of course, let them know if you have any events coming up where they can come and see you, meet the whole team. You can say more things about the Asylum in Sheboygan. So, floor is yours.
Great. Actually, both books, Wisconsin Most Haunted, Volume 1 and Volume 2, you can find on Amazon. They will order it from Barnes & Noble. Archives of a Ghost Hunter, you can get on Lulu.com, which is Lulu, and you can get it on Amazon as well, and Barnes & Noble carries Archives of a Ghost Hunter. As far as events coming up, we got the Mabel Tainter Theater in the last weekend of September, I believe, and we'll be there. I'll be speaking there along with the likes of Tobias Wayland and Grant Wilson and stuff like that, and I'll have my books there that I will autograph for anybody. There's still some tickets left for that event. It's over in Menominee near Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And at the end of October, we're going to a lodge up in Land O'Lakes, and we're going to be doing some seminars up there, and they're going to hand us the keys to the haunted rooms, and we get to investigate the haunted rooms while we're staying there.
Oh, cool.
That's one of our other little events that we're doing. As far as other things going on, or if you want to find us, you can find us on Fox Valley Ghost Hunters on Facebook, as well as foxvalleyghosthunters.com. All the asylum tours are sold out for the year, so you won't be able to get into that till next year.
Ah, okay. So the event that you're going to be joining Grant Wilson at, are you premiering something while you're speaking?
Yes, we are. We're going to be showing the little teaser trailer for Truth and Legends. For Truth or Legends in our hometown.
Yeah. Everybody gets to that comes to that event. Get to see it.
Everybody that will get that paid to go there to get tickets for Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully it's a big screen, because I saw the whole stage where you're going to be.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Melissa was a little worried about talking on the phone tonight, a little nervous. I can imagine what she's going to be like, standing up on stage.
Stage is fine.
Just picture everybody naked.
Oh, that will help.
Well, it works.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's kind of scary. It's worse than ghost hunting when you're trying to picture that.
Oh, man. When I had issues with stage fright, I just had to look out beyond. Basically, you look over to people's heads.
Yep.
And the light blinds you, so that works out perfect.
I'm usually nervous for the first 10 minutes, and after that I start to settle in. So.
Ah. Yeah.
When I can't think of anything, I'll just hand her the mic. Here. I'm freezing. You take it.
Oh, man. I think I've done that a couple times to Paula. I go, hey, you got something to say? She's like, mm-mm. I'm like, here you go.
Here you go. Yeah, you can have the mic.
I do remember the first time I got on stage and the curtain opened and I'm going to sing. I had a shaky leg. Just like Elvis, but they kind of thought I was dancing, so it kind of fit in. And I just started playing, and the leg kind of stopped shaking. But yeah, I was sitting there shaking back and forth, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be a rockabilly song." No, it really wasn't, but you could think that. But yeah, that kind of cured my stage fright doing that.
Yeah, I don't like it when the stages have those really hot lights and they're pointing at you, and then you start sweating before you're talking.
Yeah, especially when you're wearing an outfit. That's a lot of fun.
Yep.
I mean, singing in front of what was it, about 2,800 people at the Elvis Presley Pavilion tent, and that was like 2013. hell, I don't remember. But, that stage was loaded with lights, and I'm just like, oh, my God, I'm roasting. I had sweat going down the side of my face, and while I'm trying to play guitar, sweat's going down my arms, actually hitting the string, and I'm like, geez, this sucks. But we still had to do the show, and we did the show, and we rocked it, so, it was awesome. So, anyway... we had a great time with you guys on the show tonight. I hope you had fun. Our listeners now know about who the Fox Valley Ghost Hunters are. And they also know that you are an author of Wisconsin's Most Haunted Volume 1 and Volume 2 and Archives of a Ghost Hunter. And you basically let them know that you're on U.S. Cellular commercials. 4 million views. You've been heard on radio shows. You've been on TV talk shows. You've been on the news. Man, sounds like us.
Yeah.
Man, we've been in newspapers. We've been in the same paranormal magazine. This is awesome.
Nice.
So, yep.
Only the best of the best.
There you go. Season 1 for Truth or Legends in Your Hometown is... Episode 1 is featuring the Fox Valley Ghost Hunters as well as R&R Paranormal. And that's basically Wisconsin and Tennessee. And then, of course, the second episode is going to be... Where are we going?
Massachusetts and Michigan, I believe.
Oh, it's Boston and Michigan. And then wait, is that right? You sure? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Boston and Michigan. And the third episode is going to be Alabama and Texas. And then, see, everybody has 4 locations. So we're going to have a total of 12 episodes for Season 1. Can't wait.
Oh.
Yep. The full teaser, once all the teams are done, all 6 teams, I'm going to go ahead and pick the best ones of the locations so far. I've already got you guys for... First Ward and everybody else, and we'll put them all together into a killer teaser and get it over to Netflix. I only got a 6-month deadline, so in December.
Get on it.
Oh, gee, thanks. Toward the end of December, they will hopefully have a teaser, and of course everybody else will get to see it as well. So, but this is the time we go ahead and say good night and have yourself a good rest of the evening, and we're gonna sign off.
Take care, Devin.
All right, you too.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for being on the show.
Enjoy your night.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, there you have it. You got to listen to the founder of Fox Valley Ghost Hunters, and, of course, his lead investigator. So you got to learn about all the locations they've been to, their experiences, and everything. Join us next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. Central. We are going to be joined by the one and only Dave Spinks. You have seen him on the History Channel with his, what's it called? Something Unexplained, narrated by none other than Captain Kirk, William Shatner. So if you haven't checked that out, go to the History Channel and look for The Unexplained. I think it's what it's called. And you can watch the episode of Willow's Weep. But join us, 8 p.m. We're going to be talking to Dave Spinks. Hope everyone has a good rest of the evening. We are out.
Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Colin Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon.